In this video, I will show you how much house you can afford at a $50,000 a year salary. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am your host, Leo Landaverde, business coach and real estate investor helping you scale your business. If you are ready to grow your business to 7 figures and beyond while creating the financial freedom and the lifestyle you want, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell and you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. So, how much house can you buy on a $50,000 a year salary? Well, the answer is it depends. It depends on where you are in the country. Now, in the more expensive states, it's not gonna give you as much house. But in the less expensive states, you're gonna get a whole lot more house for your buck, right? So, well, why $50,000 a year? Well, according to recent surveys, the median average salary for workers in the United States in 2020 was $49,764 a year. So roughly about $50,000 a year or $25 an hour. So here's what usually happens. I think in general, people look at a house first, fall in love with it, and then they figure out if they can afford it. Well, that can be a painful process and you can set yourself up for disappointment if you don't know if you can qualify for it. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how that looks like. So here are the 3 steps in calculating how much house you can afford on a $50,000 a year salary. Step number 1, we're gonna calculate your debt to income ratio. And there's a formula that lenders use, and I'm gonna show you how to back your numbers into that. Number 2, we're gonna calculate your maximum monthly payment, which will include your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And number 3, based on those 2 steps, we're gonna calculate the maximum price you can pay for a property. So it'll be easier if I can explain it in my computer. So let's hop over to my computer and I'll show you how that works.
So when it comes to numbers, it's always easier to do it on a spreadsheet, and I love Excel. So I thought it would be easier to kind of walk you through these 3 steps that we discussed, which are you calculate your debt income ratio. Having that, we're gonna calculate your maximum monthly payment. And then last but not least, we're gonna do the 3rd step at a website called Trulia. And that has a very robust calculator and it's gonna make sense in the end. So as I said, we're going to calculate the debt to income ratio. So here are the different variables. We have the lender's max debt to income ratio. And this number varies from lender to lender, depending on the program, whether it's conventional, FHA, VA. It will vary between anywhere between 40 as 55%. So we're gonna keep it at 45% for illustration purposes. And here's the $50,000 a year salary that we discussed. I have I call it a suggested DTI ratio, which is debt to income ratio, and I'll explain that in a little bit. And also, what the payroll taxes are. So, because you get paid gross, but then what you take home is after payroll taxes. So that's factored in here. So we're gonna calculate based on 50,000. So, and you're gonna notice that the numbers change. If I was to change it to say 60,000, so all the numbers will change. So for the sake of this video, it's gonna be $50,000. So the first portion of it, so the formula is, as you can see it over here, is to find out your maximum payment, you have to know your monthly gross income times the maximum allowable debt to income ratio from the lender, which is here, minus your monthly debt payments equals your max mortgage payment, which is right here. So so if you notice, it already has the formulas here. I'll be happy to share this spreadsheet if you want me to. Just let me know if you want it. There's plenty of calculators on the internet. This one just makes it easy for me. It's right in Excel. So let's go. So say for instance, typically we're gonna start on the debt side. So actually, let's start on the monthly gross income. So $50,000 a year. So if you were to divide that by 12, it's gonna give us a monthly gross income of $41,666.67, right? This is before payroll. So for the lender's purposes, and here's a warning: if you are a W-2 employee, lenders are going to take your gross wages. If you are self-employed, lenders are going to look at your net income that comes from your Schedule C that you file along with your your income tax, your 1040, which is your income tax return. So it's for illustration, for this, the sake of this video, it's going to be for wages that are W-2. So you're an employee, work at a firm, get a W-2 at the end of the year. So 4166, 67. Now, what lenders do, they just want to know, there's usually called something that it's called the back-end ratio, which is what your ratio looks like before and what it looks like after. So the average person will have at least one car payment. So this is the average person. We have probably 2 credit cards. So in this case, we're gonna add all your monthly debt. And that usually what they do is they start with your FICO score. Once a lender wants to check your ability and wants to kind of do their calculations, they're gonna pull your credit report and they're gonna look at the FICO, Experience, and Equifax. And they're gonna see what is listed in your credit report. Now they're gonna add a couple things back, like child support and any if you had an IRS tax lien that has a payment, you have to disclose that. But illustration here, we're having a car payment. So you had a car payment that is $300 a month, and you have a couple of credit cards. You may have 2 car payments, you may have 3 credit cards, you may have a loan, you may have 3 loans, you may have child support. Every variation. So say that right now it's 470 is your monthly debt. A lender is not going to take into consideration, depending on the lender, what your residual income is. Only VA loans do that. There's a formula for that. That's a subject for a video for another day. So I'm not going to talk much about the residual income portion of it. Only your maximum payment formula and how much house you can afford. So 470. So say if your car payment was $325, well, that's going to change the number to $495, and you're going to see how that. So say it was $495, and if you know your monthly payment, and if you know your monthly debt, if you know your max debt ratio, those are the 3 numbers that we will need to calculate that. So you notice that how the formula works. So in this case, so we're going to take your monthly payment, your monthly gross income times your max debt to income ratio from the lender minus your monthly debt equals your max loan payment. So in this case, your maximum mortgage payment per the lender, it's going to be $1,380, and that assumes that principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, what is called a PITI. Okay, so if you wanted to go deeper, and for those of you who are Dave Ramsey fans, that's what I'm suggesting. Okay, but that you still have to live on, you still have to buy food, you still have to put gas in your car, you still need all that insurance, car insurance. So if you were making $50,000 a year, this is your payment, okay, but then you have $1,250 to live on, right? So word of caution, the max doesn't mean that's what you should do. So that's what I have a suggested DTI ratio. So this is what the numbers look like if you were to go with this debt to income ratio of 35. So you obviously your mortgage payment will be lower, but your disposable income will be higher. So hopefully that makes sense. So for this example, so your maximum mortgage payment will be $1,380 a month. So I hope you're with me. And now let's hop over to Trulia and to see what that looks like, to see how much house you can afford at $50,000 a year. Okay, so here we are at the Trulia website, trulia.com. The reason I like this tool is because Trulia has done a really good job adding a lot of the variables, and it's a very robust calculator, and it has more advanced features that we're probably not going to get into it. We're going to try to keep it simple, so we're going to work with the simple calculator. And it has, the variables are, you need to have a zip code, you need to have a price, right? You start with a price, it won't let you do anything, if it is 0. And then you can do the slider up and down on the interest rates. We're going to see how that looks like. But if you remember, do you remember what the maximum mortgage payment was, included of mortgage, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? Well, here it is. It was $1,380. So that's the number that we have to work with. That is a max. So say in this case, you're pre-qualified. Congratulations. You're ready to go shopping with a maximum rate mortgage payment of $1,380. Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind, and we hop over here. So I'm using a zip code in the Central Valley, California, because that's where I'm based. Now, if you would have to put whatever zip code for properties that you're looking into purchase, so you know your area, so you know what to choose. So I'm going to use the zip code. Now I'm going to start with a 250,000. I know it's a little unrealistic in some places in California, but just so humor me. So we're looking at 250,000. We have principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, roughly, at about 1487. There's mortgage and insurance and others. So if you have, PMI, premium mortgage insurance, if it is forced to you for whatever reason because of credit challenges, if you got an FHA loan, you're gonna have PMI, which is already factored in here. But so right now, we're putting 0% down. There are programs out there, and I'm gonna talk about it in next week's video, where you can actually put, VA loans, you don't need a down payment. But let's say this is a conventional loan, a 30-year fixed loan, conventional, with an interest rate of 2.59. We're gonna play around with that a little bit. The higher your FICO, the lower the interest rate. So, the higher capacity to pay, your better credit worthiness and your length of stay in a job, they all play a role in what the interest rate is gonna be for you. So if you have challenges with your credit, expect a higher rate. So right now, let's say you have, say you have $20,000 to put down. $250,000 in zip code 93721 is not unrealistic. But say your interest rate was not 2.59, it was a little higher than that. So say it was 2.75. Look, say if you went into 3. Now, these are historically low interest rates. I remember a time where the interest rate was 9%. But so these are, great. This is a great time to buy, so long as the interest rates don't go up, and they will eventually, and they're cyclical. They go up and down. So right now we're at 1397. We just shy of purchasing a home for $250,000. Well, guess what happens? What if you had more money to put down? Say you had 25,000. Well, maybe in that case you can actually afford a little more house, right? We're gonna go, what is it again? So 1380. Okay, so we could not go, so in order for us to stay in our range of maximum debt, mortgage payment based on the debt to income ratio of 45, that puts us at, you probably would have to go lower. So we're gonna have to go 50,000 to 215, 220. You're fine at 220, but you definitely want to put some money down. Very few. FHA would allow you to put a 3% down, but there's a cap on how much you can go. You're not gonna find, unless there's a VA loan, a loan that is gonna allow you to just put nothing down. So you're gonna have to put some money down, and you have to factor in your closing costs, which usually average between 7 and 10% of the transaction, which you need to have in cash. So this is kind of what it looks like at 225. So you're looking at you can probably afford to, get a house for 245, 255, probably in that range, on a 30-year fix, at 2.99 with $15,000 down. Probably 245. So that's how it works. So so the way you should do it is figure out how much you qualify for, then go house shopping. And I hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned, because I have some great videos coming up in the next few weeks that are going to be all about purchasing a home and investing in real estate. Thanks for watching.
Are you a real estate investor looking for funding for your next project? I can totally help you. Email me. My email address is below in the notes section of this video. Also, if you want to join a community of like-minded successful entrepreneurs just like you, then join our Facebook group at the link below, where I share tips, tactics, and strategies on how my clients are growing their businesses to 7 figures and beyond.